I'm just going to start.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a couple more people will join us, so we'll wait one more minute till 5:31. I know that's against my normal way, but.
And hi, Misty and Sally.
Hello.
I
How's it
don't know that
going?
I've met you, Misty. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think I met you when I brought Mia in that day, but I could have been wrong.
That's possible.
Yeah, Mia's mom. I'm glad you got out of work in time. Thank you for joining us. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm still at work, but I'm just kind of taking a break, so we'll see how it goes.
There.
All right.
And Fernando, or Fernando's dad, or parents, one of the two. It's good to have you here.
Okay, Bonnie's trying to get in, and I'm telling her she has a new link in her email, right?
Yeah.
For Bonnie. So Bonnie will come in. We need Bonnie to be here. But we are gonna start by introducing everyone, and it may take us a few minutes to do that, and we may break off and introduce other people as they come in. So we will probably start doing some introductions. And hey, Tabitha. She was like in the other meeting and she was making eye contact with me and you were like listening to me and I was like, one person is listening to me. So I was very happy. Thank you for that. Okay, so when you're introducing yourself, obviously I would love for you to turn on your camera if you can, if you have one, and you'll have to unmute yourself to introduce yourself. And then we'd love to just hear, okay, there's Bonnie. Now we can go. Whew. So anyway, if you can introduce yourself and say who your student is maybe and what grade, and if you have several students or if you've, or whatever, just say something like that. And we'll start, how about let's start with us from the school. And then I'll call on you guys because I don't know if you're in the same order. So Mr. Walter, go ahead.
All right. My name is Chris Walter. I am one of the teachers here at Innovations. I have been here for 8 years already since the school opened. I teach chemistry, physics, and exploring computer science.
Thank you. And I'm next on the screen. I'm Pam Pedersen. I am the principal here at Innovations. And I am thrilled that we had our first day of school. For whatever it was. I am so excited that we all got to start trying and start being in classes and all start working together. I'm so happy. And thank you all for being here. Okay, go, Joey.
My name is Joey Ellis. I'm a teacher here at Innovations. I teach secondary math 2. I've been a tutor here before I was a teacher, so this will be my 6th year as Innovations and my 3rd as a teacher. So.
And Andy is a day-old baby. One day.
I do.
So exciting. Sorry, I gotta say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Anyone in my mentor class, you'll see pictures in our weekly group mentor meeting.
So fun. Okay, Cindy, you're up.
My name is Cindy McCone-Binen. I have a son who is a 10th grader this year at Innovations. His name is Jacob. And I actually have a little bit of a, my heart is with Innovations because I was one of the ones that started Innovations, the thinking process and how it even started and everything. So anyway, it's the best school ever.
Thanks, Cindy. Okay, Tabitha, down to the next row.
My name's Tabitha Thompson, and my son is Chris Zephyr Mango. He is starting 9th grade. Today was his first day of high school, and during this craziness. And he's really excited to be a part of Innovations. I think it's perfect for our situation. We're really looking forward to this year.
Thank you. Bonnie, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Wilson, and I have a son who's a junior at Innovations, although he's doing mostly concurrent this year, so he's not at Inno as much. I also have a daughter who's at the U, who just graduated this past spring, and I've been serving on the SCC now for 2 years and have really enjoyed getting to know Pam and the teachers and getting to understand the process that goes into all of the decision making and financials and budgets and things like that with the school. So it's been really great.
Thanks, Bonnie. Okay, Misty. Misty at work.
Okay, sorry to unmute it. My name is Misty, and my daughter Mia is just starting this year for her 11th grade year. I don't know what else to say. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Sorry about my mask too. I'm here at the hospital, so I can't take it off.
You're fine.
That's
Okay.
fine. All right, Sally, you're next.
I'm Sally, and I have a senior, Ren. He's been doing concurrent enrollment for the past few years, and he just has a few things to finish up, and he'll be graduated. It's exciting.
It is. All right, Matilda. Go ahead.
Hi, Hilda. I have a senior named Hans and a sophomore named Olive, and that's really all I have to say too.
Thank you. Benjamin, I know you were on a minute ago.
Well,
There you are.
I just have he's kind of included in everything. What are you, in 9th grade now? These kids are going too quickly. Nope, I have a son named Braden. He's really excited. His cousin just graduated from your school. Absolutely said nothing but great things, and he's super excited.
Good. And how did your first day go, Braden?
Good.
Yeah, it was okay. Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you. Okay, McRae.
Sorry, I'm going to unmute myself. I've been multitasking. I hope this isn't too. There we go. Hey.
There you go. Hey.
I'm McRae Scott's dad. He's working tonight, and he's a senior. And I know I've met all the staff there. You guys are great to work with, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this with the parents and families. Appreciate you.
Thank you. We're glad you're here. Sylvia, did you get your audio working?
Yeah, it looks like it just barely jumped on. So
Yeah, I think it barely. We'll come back to Sylvia. Mari.
So I'll introduce Mari. She
Okay.
mentioned that she can't turn on her sound or her video right now.
Oh yeah, thanks.
So Mari has 2 sons. One has graduated from Innovations about 1.5 years ago, and the other is currently a junior.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us. And it's okay. You can put anything in the chat. Any of you can. You don't have to like speak in front of everyone. You can put something in the chat if you want us to know. Carrie, do you have sound? It's always funny when you say someone's name that's on here and then they're like, that's not my name. So obviously if your device is named something else, excuse me for saying it wrong. Okay, maybe not Carrie. Sylvia, I think you turned your sound on. Sylvia, sorry. Okay. If a whole bunch more people come in, we may stop and introduce again, but that's okay for now. I appreciate all of you being here so much. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do something that we have the students do in Zoom meetings, and that is we're going to give you a little bit of a quiz. So you should have some questions pop up on your screen, and you are going to be able to answer them, and we'll give you about 1 minute. Oh, the first question is, oh yeah, how many years have you been involved with Innovations? I'm not sure if it says that in the right spot.
It does.
So if we've had more than one student, should we just pick I've lost track?
Yep, that's I think what you should do.
Gotcha.
Were there just 2 questions?
Yep, there's just 2.
Okay.
And a lot of times we have the students just do 1 question, and there's a lot of reasons why we do this. Is everyone 81% voted? If some people can't vote always, and you invite students to put their answers in the chat if they're unable to see the questions in the correct way or they're unable to answer them. So, and then what's really fun is we look at who's here, and we have 3 people in first year of Innovations, 3 year with 4th year. Oh, here we got another one. And several who have lost track because they've had several kids here, which says a lot to us about you guys staying. So thank you for that. And you guys are way too smart with number 2. You know that it's School Community Council is SCC. Unfortunately, it's not social community credit. We kind of wish it was that, but anyway, so thank you for looking at that with us. And you can think about, and I'm going to close that. Is that okay, Joey? Okay, I'm going to close that.
I should have already closed it. It should be gone.
Okay. So again, when you have students in a class and we're all spread across the city, and if students can share something funny or answer a funny question or answer something serious with whatever they're studying, and then maybe we put them into rooms to talk about the answers. Because in this big group already, we're big enough that we wouldn't all necessarily be able to talk. But if we broke you out into small groups, it's kind of like working in a small group in the classroom, and it works very similarly. So that is very cool. We've had a couple more people join us. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Jillian emailed earlier and said she was going to come, so I'm glad you're here. Okay, are we ready to go on? There is an agenda posted in the chat. And
I'm going to post it one more time just to make sure everybody's got access to it.
And it's going to look, and of course I have a paper copy because I like having paper when I'm looking at you guys. It's a really simple agenda tonight. There's only a few things that really we have to accomplish. So we're going to jump into those. The first, so it's in the chat now if you want to look at it. The main point of tonight is that we need to talk about what is a school community council, and we have to decide, I'd like each of you to decide how much you want to be involved. And that's important because there are, by state law, there are certain things that if you're staying involved with us the whole school year, that you get to be involved in, things you get to sign off on, you get to help plan how certain budgets are spent. And it's kind of a big deal for our school. So the meetings are going to be like this one, the second Monday of each month. We voted last year, even before we had to, that we would have all of our meetings on Zoom because it's so much more, it's just better. You can get home from work, you don't have to go somewhere else. So I'm hoping that that helps a lot of us want to stay involved. And the main things that we need to do tonight, and I have some stuff to show you. I'm going to share some screens with you. So when COVID has really messed up our timing for a lot of things that we're doing. So we wrote a school plan for our budget called Land Trust. We wrote a budget for that and approved it tentatively maybe a month before the shutdown happened. A lot of schools were not that far on their process. So the State Office of Education decided that everyone needed to redo their plan and everyone had to have people vote on it again. And they really felt like that was a kind thing to do. It's funny for us, it's not so kind, but it's going to be okay. So anyway, that's the biggest thing that the members of the School Community Council do, are they help us in the school to know what to do better. They help us to make plans. They help us at the school to really direct resources to things that we know our students need. And it's very cool, and it is state law. So we're doing a good thing, and we're being good for our whole community. Okay, so let me show you. What I'm gonna do is I'm first gonna show you our plan that we have written. All right, so I'm gonna share that on my screen. Well, there's two things actually. So one of the things, can you all see this now? Okay, good. This form, it's one of those things they said, oh, we're going to give you a lot of time to do this. We know how hard it is. Now it's like, due Friday, get it done. And so this is a form basically that shows who is going to be involved with our committee for the whole year, our council. And you'll notice that everyone has emails on here. That is because when we as a school say, this is our plan or this is what we're going to do, they send emails to everyone on this form, and everyone on this form has to approve whatever it is by email, or we can't go forward with it. So when I say that I want you to decide to be involved, one thing that you need to do is by the end of the year, you have to sign off by email to the state office just a couple of things that have happened and that you've been in meetings and you know what's going on. So I am going to ask who wants to be part of our official committee. And that doesn't mean that you have to. And it doesn't mean you can't come to the meetings, even if you're not on this form. Does that make sense? I just need certain people to say, yep, I'm on. I'm coming to the meetings. I care. Other people may say, well, I just want to come once in a while. Or maybe someone has work like Misty. If her work schedule doesn't allow her to usually come, it's fine. She can come whenever. Okay, so that's the one thing. The next thing is—
Hey Pam, can I interrupt here real quick?
Yeah.
If you would like to be part of the official SCC, if you could send Pam an email with like asking that you'd like to be a part of it, that you're gonna be here fairly regularly, or at least be watching the recorded video, so she's aware.
Yep. Or you can put it in the chat, or you can email me, and Chris Walter is gonna put my email in the chat if you need it. Okay, and I needed to log in again, so now I'm gonna share this with you again. So this is our current plan that we were writing right before shutdown. And you'll notice up here it says that it's pending review by land trust administrators, and that's okay. And we had some data that we used to make this plan, and it had to do with how students are using tutors and their outcomes at school. And what we found in our own internal data was that students who we felt really could benefit from tutoring didn't ask for it. They didn't sign up, or they didn't show up. And it seemed very difficult to make those two things connect, the student and the tutor. But that's one of the main things we do here, is provide really, really powerful tutoring for students. So what we started doing last year is we started designing things so that the students who needed tutoring would get it automatically. They wouldn't have to be signing up, they wouldn't be avoiding. And we figured that only 10% of our tutor time before this goal were spent on the identified students who needed tutoring the most, which was special education students, students learning English, and other students with very specific needs. So we were saying, wow, only 10% of our tutoring time was going to that. We want to get it up to 25%. So we made some changes in classes and things, and those things will be able to continue even when we're not in person. So we said that we were impacting reading and math. We were measuring the total tutor time and trying to raise it to 25%. The action steps obviously were we needed to hire really highly qualified tutors and provide training to them, and staff schedules with tutors so that tutors were there when we needed them to be there. We already track our tutor time, so we have a great way of keeping that data over time. And then we're looking at student outcomes. Then, does anyone have any questions so far? Just jump in, because—
So there was one question in the chat that me and Joey are responding to.
Okay, and that's good. The expenditure is really, it's a really simple, like one thing expenditure basically, which is our tutor salaries. And basically almost the whole budget went to that. And there's some detail of that right there. And then there's a little bit of money we carried over from last year, which we're allowed to carry over 5 to 10%. And so we put that in as well. And it's just kind of a nice, simple budget. We're paying for tutors. Tutors really impact students, and we're going to try to have them impact the students with the most need. That's the plan. Very simple. Any other thoughts about that, or? Give you a minute. Okay, you guys are an easy crowd tonight. Okay, no one? Nothing? So this is one of the things, though, that we have to, as a committee, we have to approve and say, and especially the parents who have been here a while will have more experience with tutors. And maybe, I don't know, does anyone want to share an experience with a tutor or an experience their student had who's been here? And I'm going to stop sharing this for a minute. Any thoughts on tutors? Because especially, like half of our parents here are new, so.
Yeah, I know. This is Jeremiah. We have a son who's a senior and a son that's a sophomore there. And I know Davin, he's the senior. He really benefited from finally got him to go to it. He realized that he could spend 15 minutes with a tutor and get a couple assignments done, or he could stare at it for 2 hours or ignore it for 3 weeks, right? And so I think it's really valuable. I'm a big fan of the individual attention that they can get at this school, and I think it's really valuable. So I'm all for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that insight.
And Mari's just adding in the chat, it's extremely important and it makes a huge difference.
Okay.
Can I add something in, Pam?
Of course, Joey.
Coming from like a tutor standpoint of being able to do the tutor role versus the teacher role, a tutor's really able to like focus individually on students. They make really good relationships and bonds that the student keeps coming and talking to them and keeps getting help, and it not just helps them get it done, but understand the material and get a high quality understanding of what's happening. Where a teacher, as a math teacher, I'm trying to keep track of like 150, where maybe a tutor is focused on like 30. So they're really able to narrow down their focus, which is nice.
Thank you. That's a very valuable perspective as the teacher and the tutor here, you know. So yeah.
Oh, I was going to say something. Ren has also used tutors for his college classes. So that's because he was in a couple classes where he was just having a really hard time, and he used tutors and it helped him through it because there aren't tutors necessarily available for those.
Yeah, I think that's something students have done a lot here is they go ahead, they're going into college classes and they're maybe not even in our building hardly at all, but they come in to make appointments with tutors, and those tutors help them like bridge that high school to college period and help them to feel really confident about what they're doing. And that's part of what we want is students to get into college classes and gain that knowledge and confidence. Well, that's good. I think, so we can vote on this tonight. It's really simple. There's not a whole lot in this that is complicated, or like I can see with some plans, people going, oh, I better take that home and read it. But basically we're saying we're gonna take the whole budget of land trust that we have this year, and we're gonna put it into the thing that we think helps our students the most besides our teachers. Do you think, is that okay with everyone?
I think that's great.
Thanks, thank you so much. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're okay with that. And everyone who isn't, if you don't have your camera on, please put in the chat. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have 14 parents and all thumbs up. So I really appreciate that. So you can see that like next year, probably starting in like January or something, we're gonna need to write a new plan. We're gonna need to look at our data, and we're gonna need to do some serious work on Do we want to continue just putting money into tutors? We may decide there's some other things that need some help, you know. And I have to share this with you. Last year, we set an audacious goal to have 70% of our freshmen finish their math class on time. Can anyone guess what the percentage was that we were going off of when we set that goal? And you guys who know can't tell. Anyone want to guess? Put it in a chat. Someone put it in. Guess what? How many freshmen were finishing math on time? I'm waiting. What'd you say? Go again, Shani. 40? Did you say 40?
I said 100.
100%? I wish. So when we gathered our data, okay, so a couple people say 50%, a couple say 20. When we gathered our data, 45% of students, freshman students, or whoever was doing Math 1, was finishing on time.
I misunderstood. I thought that was before the whole tutor.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, I'll tell you. So guess how all the staff, and especially the math teachers, felt about this goal. Our goal was to get 70%. That is a huge, huge shift from 45 to 70. They were really worried. The rest of the staff was worried. Like, you shouldn't, that's mean. You shouldn't make them. That's so hard. That kind of stuff. But guess what? We smashed that goal. We were almost to 80% last year, even with the shutdown, even with everything. You guys, it's like a miracle. But you know what? If you don't set a goal like that, you don't have those kind of results. So this is the power of this document and trying to direct this funding toward a problem that you know could be better. We knew our students were smart. We knew they could finish Math 1 on time. Just there was a lot of things in the way. So anyway, I just had to share that with you because it's so exciting. I loved it. Okay. And of course, parents were very key in setting that goal and key in saying you should really stretch. Please do it. And so that's some of what you all can look forward to. Okay, so now that I have...
I'm going to pause you for a sec because we have a good question from the chat.
Okay.
Do you think the tutor program was what made the difference?
I am sure it did. And it's hard to know exactly because of all the changes and everything, but the students had a lot more people pushing them to get math done and helping them and saying, like a tutor would sit down with a kid and say, we're not leaving until you finish this assignment and submit it. So they didn't have to stare at it for 2 weeks, like was said earlier. So part of what we need for SCC this year is the three positions that we kind of start with are a chair, a co-chair, and a secretary. And sometimes SCCs vote to have another thing, like a historian or someone who does publicity or whatever. But you know, honestly, I'm happy with the chair, the co-chair, and the secretary. Bonnie Wilson, who's on the call, give us a wave again, Bonnie, has been she served as a co-chair. And this year she is willing to do chair, but it's hard to do that job by yourself. So I am hoping that we can figure out if someone wants to help out and be a co-chair and be a secretary. Now the secretary basically can kind of help keep minutes, send the minutes out to the parents, and just kind of probably help me mostly keep track of things that we need to do. I don't think any of those jobs break your back. They're not horribly difficult. Does anyone want to, or is anyone interested in serving in any way to help us do our community council better? Okay, I got Shani raising her hand.
I think Jillian and I are.
Okay. Did she twist your arm, make you do that?
No.
Who twisted whose arm? Okay, so, and if Bonnie continues to be a chair, or I'm going to make you be the chair because you've already been the co-chair. You don't want to do that again. So between the two of you, anyone thinking about secretary versus co-chair? Do you have an idea?
I'm really good at being a secretary.
Are you really? I'm so excited to hear that. And Jillian, that might mean you're a co-chair? maybe?
Sure.
Sure. You do have to get texts from me. I know that's a hard thing. All of you would have to do that. So that's one thing. And I tend to think of texts at really strange times, but you don't have to answer me at the strange time. Is anyone else interested in helping out? Because we're going to vote on this. And if we have other people, we can talk about, you know, whatever. Okay, no one is. You know, it's so easy though when there's 3 jobs and 3 people. So everyone in the meeting, and again, if you don't have if you can't turn on your camera, please put something in the chat. Is it okay for Bonnie to be our chair, Jillian to be the co-chair, and Shani to be a secretary? Thumbs up or in the chat? Okay, and I'm waiting for some chats here. Okay. So, you know, some schools have to have elections with like a locked box and people freaking out and like all this competitiveness. Thank you for just letting us have a thumbs up on Zoom. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate that about you. Okay.
So I'm going to jump in for a sec because there was a question in the chat that I really want Joey to answer.
Okay.
And the question was, if math is such an issue, why do the students only have math once a week?
All right. This is the why we came to this decision. It was very much a COVID decision and doing stuff via Zoom. So what we did as a department is we decided to flip our classrooms, which what that means is that we recorded videos of us teaching the lessons, and students are expected to watch those videos before they come to class. That way, when they come to class meetings, we're spending time not teaching a formula or going over vocabulary, but we're practicing problems and letting students work in groups so that they can talk about problems, because that's really what students have the biggest issue. When I'm lecturing, a student feels confident and they get it. Once they move to their homework and they're trying something on their own, that's when they get stuck. So we decided as a department to be able to have less meetings in a week to accommodate this crazy Zoom schedule and really have that be really meaningful time as a department. Does that answer it?
So just to reiterate, we're not saying that students only work on math once a week. We're saying they're working independently throughout the week, and then once a week, it's just going to focus on that assistance from the teacher.
Okay. That question actually, and Joey's answer actually lead me into the next part of if you're looking at the agenda, to talk a little bit about the school year and the overview of where we are right now, where we hope to be. And I have ready for you kind of a visual representation of our schedule for this year. And I am going to show that to you if I can remember where it is. Hold on a second. Because obviously, you know that, here we are. Let me see if I can get this. You know that our numbers right now cause us to be totally in remote. And I know you understand that the other districts are not totally remote, and that we really took kind of a risk to make that decision to be safe. And our school board demanded to develop some numbers that they felt would be safe for us to come back to school, and numbers that would cause us to stay remote. And honestly, given some of the problems happening with other districts already, I feel like we did a good job. But this is a form found on our website, and it's the student schedule. And you see on the left side with the times are our class periods, and they have kind of unusual numbers, and there's a reason for that, but just take my word for it, it's okay. And it tells when, like, advisories at the first part of the day. So a lot of your students will be meeting with their advisory teacher during that time, but not always. And it's also broken down by when there's language arts reading classes, when there's science, when there's math, all of those. So Like, I really think it would be fun if all of you printed this out and put it on the fridge and circled the in-person meetings that your student is supposed to be at, so that you can say to them, well, hey, you were supposed to go to Language Arts 9 today at 11 o'clock. Did you go? And the kid will be like, you know what I mean? It's a way for you to kind of keep track of what the student should be doing live with the teacher, live on Zoom. And you can also write down some things about when they're supposed to be meeting with their mentor and when other things are happening. Chris or Joey, you have any other comments about that?
Yeah, just quickly to answer a question in the chat. It says that some of the class pages show slightly different times. That's because when we had to build the schedule, it had to be built into a block schedule, like what the high schools would look like. But because our school is not like the other high schools, it's slightly different. So that's where like that 13 period where it's like 9:21 to 10:03, it could be a 9 to 10 type class. Or 10:56 to 11:56, that's probably an 11 to 12 class. So I would go with what's on the teacher's classes. This is just gives a rough idea, and it's also used for district purposes, so we fall in line with the cookie cutter model. If that makes sense.
Well, and then students are supposed to be in class. The school board feels very strongly, in the state board, that they should be in some kind of Zoom meetings or work with a small group or with tutors at least 4 hours a day. And this is a way for everyone to kind of visually see how that can happen and what's available. So that is on our homepage. And I felt like that was important to share with you.
So I'm going to pull up a comment that Shani made. She talked about how her student's mentor made an individual schedule for her son, and it was super helpful. And any of our mentor teachers are willing to do that for your children as well. Just let us know if we have not done that for you already and you would like it.
Yeah. Things are taking a little bit of time to get going and to be 100% in place. And I know that everyone's been really, really patient, but I kind of feel like if someone wasn't being patient, like, please tell us what's going on. I got some texts and emails today from students that to them, it seemed like the hugest problem, but I took care of it and directed them to one person or gave them one answer, and they instantly felt better. So I think that any problems, if you hear from other parents or if your son or daughter is like, gee, this and this, I'm really getting mad about whatever, it would be great to hear about it so we can solve it, because we're pretty smart with that. Anything else, Joey, for the school year that you want to add just in general with what we're doing?
Not necessarily. I think our school already does a pretty decent job of being flexible. Obviously, during this crazy time, we're asking our students to be a little bit flexible, as we found out last week of an assembly and then not an assembly, but we really did it. And just those things of just being communication with your mentors. I know students communicating, but as parents, if a mentor is not reaching out to you guys, it's not because they don't want to. It's because they've gotten super busy and probably it misplaced their mind. Just reach out to us. We all love talking to you as well as your students and just helping you guys solve problems and get your students to reach the goals that they're trying to reach.
And there is a question about students having some other opportunities to meet or to digitally mingle. Chris, do you want to talk a tiny bit about clubs? Because that is one thing we have traditionally done.
Yeah, and we're going to continue with clubs there. We are going to be sending out some communication to students about what clubs are available. In the past, we've had a pretty good variety. I do personally a Japanese club and a gaming club. We also have had a pride club. We've also had book clubs of various kinds. We have student government that gives them some of those opportunities. And so we will have a lot of those clubs operating still. They'll look different because we're on remote learning, but we will have those types of activities available for students still.
Well, and also our Student Senate group, I know they're planning on letting students apply for that again. And the Student Senate has traditionally done activities together. They'll watch a movie together or whatever, which they can do remotely. And that's a really good way for kids to get to know other people in the school, is to be part of Senate. So those applications are coming out, and those club ideas are coming out as well. So your students will be hearing about them. As well as parents meeting more. I think it's a really good idea to set up some Zoom times, maybe even once a month, like ask the principal questions or meet some other parents. And we can definitely set those up. We had one parent meeting even for new parents that was really positive. And I think it would be really good to have more. So we will set something up. Okay. Any other questions about the school year? You know, if our metrics get good enough, and it's by a grading period. Yes, Misty? Oh, I think she's talking over.
No, nothing. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. If the metrics are good enough, we still wouldn't come back into the building in a limited way until a grading period. So either a midterm or a term, like a term grade. Like usually the term is the end of October, and they push that back. But they don't, and I think this is especially for the big high schools, which have way less flexibility than us, that they don't want to derail kids by switching. So just know when the metrics are there, we will still wait and plan until that period, and then we'll be able to come in the building. The kids will probably be here once a week. So they'll still be doing a lot of stuff at home on Zoom, but they will also have a chance to be in a limited way with some teachers and tutors and kids, other kids in person. So that's the other part of the year. Okay. There's only a couple more things on this agenda, which is good. We do have a couple of new teachers this year, new to us. They're not really new in the district, but new to us. We have a new science teacher, Ken O'Brien, who will be doing earth science and biology. And he was the science specialist for the district for a long time, and he taught science at the university, and it's really freaking him out to be in our setting. Well, I gotta tell you, it is really different and hard. But I think once he gets his feet under him, it will be some fabulous science learning in those classrooms. I'm really excited. And then Christy Presh has joined us. She actually retired from the district and kind of hung around for a year and went, I need something fun to do. And she was an AD, she is a PE teacher, a health teacher, she's a certified counselor. She is very, very, very experienced, knows the district, knows PE and health like no one else. And again, she's new to the online format and to the classes on Zoom and the Canvas, but she is working so hard. She's half-time, but even being half-time, she has spent more than full-time the last several weeks getting on board and figuring everything out. So that is our faculty update. Otherwise, we're the same as last year. So you guys were here, just us, back again. Okay, you guys got in you for one more thing on the agenda. I'm gonna ask you to think a little bit, just warning you right now. With everything else, this is our year 5 and we have to do accreditation again. Yes, it is. Yes, accreditation, which is gonna look really different this year because they're doing everything remote and we're doing everything remotely. But it is still a journey, and it is a journey that will be much easier with parents being on board with us. So I'm going to share you one more thing. Okay, hold on. And I'm going to show you this, and then I'll explain why I'm showing you the bottom of a weird page on a Word document. Can you see that? I am having you look at this bottom thing. One of the main parts of accreditation is that a staff and students and parents and a whole community all are pretty well in agreement with what the school is trying to do. And that sounds really simple, but it isn't. But we found last year that we wanted to start working on our mission statement. Like, what is it we do? How do we do it? How would we talk about it? How would other people talk about it? So this is a rough version of what we all as a staff came up with last year. And you'll notice it's in two parts, the our school part and the our teachers. I'm going to let you read that just for a minute. Okay, you guys got it? You're good? So it may not show, but it was very difficult to come up with this. And I really should put this into the chat so you can look at it. But if you are talking about our school, especially if you're someone who's been here, would you say, yep, we do have individual learning pathways. Everything's individual. They're all designed in a certain way for that student. And the mentor program, you know, I think that's it. That's it. But the point is, okay, I'm going to stop sharing this, okay? If anyone wants it, I will email it to you, okay? Or maybe we'll put it in the minutes. And no one's even taking minutes, but we're going to, we'll try to come up with some minutes.
It's in the video.
Is it? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I forgot we were videoing it. Perfect. So the point is, at some point coming up in a few months, you guys are going to be asked to be in maybe a committee or on a Zoom call with these people for accreditation, and they're going to listen to what you say about our school. And if you say things that are 100% opposite than what this mission statement says, they're going to come back to us and say, you know, you really should work on what you think you're doing and what other people think you're doing, and you should align those and let us help you set some goals. And I say it kind of facetiously, but it's really important that we all are on the same page. So it's a good, if they help us set some goals around those things, we will do them. It will be awesome. So anyway, accreditation is coming, and my newly elected chair, co-chair, and secretary, I'm sure will have some work to do on this and some things to send out and some surveys. It'll be fun. But I just wanted to give you the heads up that that is really going to be, besides figuring out how to be an online school, that's going to be one of our main pieces this year. So it'll be exciting. Okay, so question and answer time. That's it. And our meeting is done, and we'll be done in an hour. That's my goal every week, every month. So if you have some questions.
Pam, I just wanted to say that was a good strategy to bring up the accreditation after you got the volunteer. That's great leadership. I trust you even more than I did before this. Well done.
Thank you. It's Bonnie's fault that it was at the end of the agenda. I'm going to put her in this too. Okay, anything else? Anything happening? Thoughts, comments? While you're thinking of that, chew on when would be a good time to set up a parent meet and greet kind of thing on Zoom. When do you think would be a good time or a good day? Oh yeah, we got to fill out that paper too. Okay, so I got a couple people. Remember that form where you have to sign off on things? If you're okay with me putting your name on there, that would be awesome. And while you're thinking of questions, I'm gonna.
I think Pam is asking for a good time for like a parent social or like a parent principal like question answer session.
Okay, one
parent teacher
Selena
conference
says,
is.
Oh.
Go ahead, Pam.
Oh yeah, that could be. No, it could be good around parent teacher conferences. And someone else says after 6. Selena does. So evenings, which, yeah, that is very good. And also put in the chat, you guys, if you want to be on that list where you have to email and say, okay. And the people just elected, they're on the list. There's another thing. I'm sneaking in there, Jillian and Shani. Okay, I'm going to show you this list one more time. I'll show it to you. if I can find it in my, oh no, I don't want to.
So while she's pulling that up, just to answer Selena's question, this
Yeah.
is the list of parents who are committed to looking at some of the documentation and signing off on it officially. You can still participate in these meetings if you're not on the list, but we just need a handful of people that we can count on to do those things.
Yeah, I had to, it logged me out, so hold on, because I am gonna get it to you guys. Okay, now I can share it with you. Okay, so here's the list. And like a couple people already had told me it's okay to be on the list. And a couple more of you guys will be on it. And then we'll also add the secretary and the co-chair. And, you know, it doesn't have to be 1 million people, but it has to be people who are like, yep, I'll read that plan once a year and say yes. And so you can put that in the chat, and that's it. It's called the Council Membership and Signature Form. And you get an email from the State Office of Education when I add you to the list. And then also when you need to sign something, you'll get that email as well. Okay, can I turn this one off? Good. And it's very careful to put on there that your name does not appear on public places if you're on that list, just mine. No one else does, okay? So okay, so I'm just looking to see people who might.
And then Pam, I'll send you a copy of this chat.
Okay.
Probably like tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, so any other questions or anything? You guys are so awesome. You look so friendly. Like, thank you for looking friendly at me. And seriously, if you get feedback from people, if things are going great, if things seem frustrating to a student, please pass it up to me. Pass it up. Because I can help. And I want to. I want your students to be so engaged, so excited as they can be. Okay? And just, I would love for you to do that. Okay, so I will stay on this meeting a little while if you want to chat, if you want to give me your name for the list, and it'll be great. Bonnie, do you have anything else to say since you're the newly elected chair? You want to say anything?
Oh, I have so much to say. No, just kidding. I do want to say thank you so much. This meeting probably has the best turnout that I've seen in the 2 years that I've served. So thank you for making the time. I know making it on a Zoom call is a lot easier than actually driving to the school. So it's great that we're proceeding with this format. And I'm just really looking forward to a great year.
Yep, me too. We finally had day one. So you know what? It's all going to be just uphill. It's so exciting. Okay. Yeah.
How often does this committee meet?
Once a month, the second Monday at this time. And it's going to be the same Zoom link, we hope.
Okay.
So second Monday on Zoom. And if we ever want to have, every once in a while, there might be a time we'd want to meet in person. We meet downstairs in the big conference room. If we ever get to that place where we can meet in a big conference room again. But it'll be fine. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. We're 5 minutes early, but seriously, I'll sit here, and if you want to talk to me, just stay and we'll talk. And otherwise, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Pam.
Everybody.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.